Hey, it's Travel Jiggler and this is Ochrabes Falls National Park. Ochrabes National Park is located in the Northern Cape Province. From Johannesburg, it's about a 900-kilometer drive. However, the nearest significant town is Upington, which is about 120 kilometers away. The drive to Ochrabes is all tarred road. The Northern Cape is known for its hot, dry weather, but our drive to Ochrabes was actually quite wet. You don't require any special vehicle to get there, a normal town driving sedan is enough. Normal gate times are from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. However, if you are staying in the park, then you can make special arrangements to arrive after 7 p.m. The set of falls that make up the Ochrabes Falls are the main attraction. The name Ochrabes is derived from the Nama language and it means a place of great noise. The falls are fed by the Orange River and the river drops about 56 meters at the main falls. Although there's a single significant fall most of the year, when the river is at its maximum flow, the falls do extend over quite a significant area. This, however, happens over a relatively short period of time and you've got to time it just right to be there when the river is at peak flow, and that's normally in the month of February. The Orange River and its main tributary, the Vaal River, starts several hundred kilometers to the east of Ochrabes. And so it takes several weeks for summer rainfall to make its way all the way through to the Ochrabes for you to experience peak river flow. The area around the main falls and gorge is accessible by a set of ramps and platforms, so you are able to get there by wheelchair as well. So it's very nice that the area facilitates wheelchair access to most of those areas. There are several vantage points from which you can view the falls and the gorge. In my experience, the best time to see the falls are either at sunrise or at sunset. Sunrise, in my view, is definitely the better time to see it. It's nice and still, it's really quiet at that time, so you get the full effect of the sound of the Ochrabes Falls. Sunset's also great, in particular because then the hue of the rocks takes on that orangeness that comes from the setting sun. You can of course visit at any time of day. It's particularly hot in the summertime during midday, and there is quite a bit of radiation that comes off the rocks. So if you're going to go during the daytime, just make sure that you're well hydrated and that you put on sunscreen as well. There are various accommodation options available at Ochrabes. We prefer to camp and I will do a separate campsite review. Besides the campsites, there are self-catering chalets as well. If you're looking for something particularly special, then I would recommend the Oranje Gorge Cottage. That's about 10 kilometers away from the main reception and falls area inside the park, and it has an amazing view out over the gorge. So importantly, Ochrabes National Park is much bigger than just Ochrabes Falls. There are some beautiful gorge views downstream of the falls, beautiful landscapes as well, and there is also wildlife within the national park. Take note that the roads within the park are all unpaved roads, however you do not need a special vehicle to traverse these. There are a few routes that are strictly 4x4 though. Note that when you enter the park to do the driving routes, there are a couple of low-level bridges, so if you come here in the summertime, there may be water across those bridges. So just be aware of that. If you've got a car with really low clearance, then that may be a little bit of an issue. You don't need a 4x4 to do these water crossings. During the rest of the year, these low-level bridges are dry for the most part. I definitely recommend driving out into the park and getting to some of those vantage points and seeing the rest of the national park. There is wildlife as well, in particular a number of antelope species to view. We didn't see much wildlife when we were there except at the reception and falls area. However, that could be because we didn't spend a lot of time driving around the park. The park is famous for the Ochrabes Falls, but in addition to that, there is quite a bit to see as well. There's some beautiful views down the gorge, as well as wildlife and some interesting endemic plant species to see here too. Also, if you're a keen geologist, there are some cool rock formations to see here. Whether you're a day visitor or overnighting here, there are ample facilities. So for day visitors, there's a lovely area to do a picnic and a nice pool, which is really important because it gets crazy hot here. For overnighters, there's a camping site. Check out my review of the camping facilities, and there are also a set of chalets. If you're coming to Augrabis, I do recommend that the first thing you do is visit the falls. That is the key attraction. It's really best, in my view, to see it at sunrise when you have that beautiful golden lighting, as well as at sunset. However, I would recommend that you try either early in the morning or late in the afternoon, because it gets very hot in the daytime and the sun bakes those rocks around the falls, and it can be really warm with all of that radiation coming off the rocks. That being said, if you're a fan of the heat of the day, then coming here in the middle of the day is going to be a very hot experience. Depending on what time of year you come here, the flow rate will be different. It could be very low and it could be very high. So you've really got to choose your time carefully if you want to see the falls in full flow. Augrabis is in the Northern Cape and it is relatively close to the town of Kakamas. So if you are traveling, for example, through the Northern Cape, or you're visiting the Kalahari National Park, Transfrontier Park, for example, then this is a really cool place to see on your route or on your way there. It's a good way to break up your route and make a really nice road trip of it. Make sure you put aside a bit of time to visit the rest of the park and not just the falls, because there really are some beautiful views of the canyon as you go down past the falls themselves. So there's some really cool drives here. They're all dirt roads, but in very good condition. You don't need a special vehicle to do those roads. However, there are a couple of routes here that are strictly for 4x4s. There's a fuel station on site, so you can fill your vehicle up here if you need to get fuel, and you can also get ice and wood from reception. If you're exploring the Northern Cape, I definitely recommend that you do Augrabis National Park as well. We are here in the December period. If you can come a bit later in the summer, in February, then you can get much higher flow over the falls. So I hope you found this episode informative. If you did, hit the like button, also subscribe and check out my other videos. Leave a comment below as well. And until the next episode, go everywhere, see everything, have a great time.